Getting Ready Studios.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode. This episode, I'm getting vocal about why I don't watch football anymore. Right now, we know that the Rams and the New England Patriots are going to be in Super Bowl 53, and let me tell you why I don't watch football anymore. If you didn't know about me, that my parents were from Ohio, the Cleveland area, so I was born a Cleveland Browns fan, and that's one reason that I don't watch football anymore. We had that lovely move back, when was it? 1996? In 1990, after the 95 season, Art Modell decided to move the Browns to Baltimore. And my thing is, why didn't the NFL step in at that point? I mean, we had the Cardinals wanting to go to Arizona from St. Louis, and everybody was throwing a fit. I remember the Cardinals had to jump through all kinds of hoops just to get to Arizona, but Modell, just like in the middle of the night, like the Colts did when they moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis, just, was allowed to go. And it was really tough being without a team for 4 or 5 years. Well, actually, for what? 24 years? Man, has it been that long? Yeah, we came back in 1999, but just in name only. I mean, can you believe how awful we've been since then? I mean, no offense to Tim Couch, but, the Browns drafted him to be the face of the franchise, and what did he do? He didn't even last, 4 or 5 years? Poor guy. And the coaches, I mean, look at the coaching carousel that we had there in Cleveland. I mean, I don't believe anybody had any head coaching experience when they were hired as a head coach for us. I mean, that's ridiculous. And another reason that I don't watch football is that same team that moved to Baltimore 5 years later, guess what? They win the Super Bowl as the Baltimore Ravens. I am one of those conspiracy theorists, and it goes back again, being a Cleveland Browns fan, going back to The Drive when we played freaking Denver Broncos. Oh my goodness. Don't get me started on that. But how in the world that at that, what was it, like a minute or so left, that we couldn't hold them from scoring? That's crazy. That's crazy. And then the tuck rule. I mean, I was rooting for the Patriots in that game, but come on. I believe that's what started the dynasty for the New England Patriots. But you can see, things like this will keep you guessing. It's like, what's going on here? And then I've seen all these memes. I guess that the playoff games just recently had bad calls in it, and makes you want to scratch your head and go, what's going on here? Let me get back to the coaches from when the Cleveland Browns came back. Chris Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. No, sorry, that was Carl Palmer. Chris Palmer. Ever heard of him? No. Butch Davis. You've heard of him, but he was a college coach. I think he's coaching Miami again, but this time in Ohio. Terry Robisky. He was a good offensive coordinator. Is that what he was? Yeah, he was a great offensive coordinator and didn't make it as a coach. Only lasted a year. Only lasted 5 games. And then they had Romeo Crennel, another assistant coach. Eric Mangini, Pat Shermer, Rob Jasinski, Mike Pettin, Hugh Jackson. Maybe we should have got Hugh Jackman to be the coach. Be Wolverine for a while. And then Greg Williams finished the year. But they didn't give him the job. They gave it to Freddie Kitchens. I don't understand that. So when the Browns left, I needed a team to root for. Over in the National Football Conference, the NFC, for some reason I was a big New York Giants fan, and it probably goes back to the days when they had LT playing and Pepper Johnson and Harry Carson, all those guys, and the coaches there, Bill Parcells, Jim Burt. Remember Jim Burt? And then the Carolina Panthers came into existence, and I grew up in North Carolina, so of course they were my team also. And just to throw a little bit more fuel on the conspiracy fire, how in the hell did the Broncos once again beat the Panthers in that Super Bowl? I mean, the Panthers didn't even get a chance to play. It was like 30-0, and there was only 2 minutes into the game. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. But yeah, just the Browns moving is really when I started losing interest in football. I mean, come on. Cleveland Browns is a storied franchise in the NFL. I mean, look at all the great players that came through. Look at all the great teams they had before the Super Bowl era started. I know that goes back before my time, but still. It still happened. They were still good. I mean, they were good when, we had the Cardiac Kids there for a while with Brian Sipe and those guys. And then we had Bernie Kosar and Ernest Biner, all those guys. I mean, I could name off all the players, but we'd be here forever. It's real hard to put your heart out there again when this team came back, and they've been a franchise of futility. I mean, come on. We've only had one playoff game in the last 20 years. And who was the quarterback for that? Anybody? Derek Anderson. Derek Anderson was the quarterback that season and took us to the playoffs. There's only been 2 or 3 games that I've watched in the last couple years. And one of them really means a lot to me because it was the last game I watched with my dad before he passed away. I think it was a Monday night game, and it was the Browns against the New England Patriots, of all people. And they put on a show. I mean, the Browns looked awesome in that game. And they won the game, of course. And I think that was the only game they won that whole year. Of course, I'm stretching the truth a little bit there. But that was an awesome game. And then I watched one game this year. the Browns against the Ravens, and they look pretty good. They looks like a team that might do something, but we've been down that road before, so we know that things like that don't happen. So, my goodness, look at all these quarterbacks: Tim Couch, Derek Anderson, Brandon Whedon, Colt McCoy, Brian Hoyer, Kelly Holcomb, Charlie Fry, Jeff Garcia, Trent Dilfer, on and on and on and on. People never heard of, never heard of again. Jeez. So you can see how it's hard to watch football as a Cleveland Browns fan, or any fan. I mean, come on. It just seems like it's rigged, and this might sound contradictory, being that I do root for the Patriots, and a lot of you out there saying, well, they're the biggest cheats of them all. I agree. If you ain't cheating, you're not trying. It's all about wins, baby. Come on, just win, baby. So Belichick, he came from the Browns organization. They left, and he went to New England. What if the Browns still had him? Would we have been in 9, 10 Super Bowls? It makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder. And what was up with the Browns moving? I watched a documentary. I think it was Believeland, about Modell and the city of Cleveland fighting over renovations, I guess, Cleveland Stadium and other things. And it does seem like the city council for the city of Cleveland was a little bit cocky. He won't do it. He won't move it. But why didn't the NFL step in? This is a storied franchise, people. The Cleveland effing Browns. The Cleveland Browns. You know, back in the day, I was a Raiders fan until they moved to L.A. I mean, you kind of lose touch with a team that's not from the area you're from or your family's from. You know, nowadays you just root for players. It seems like not teams, because there's so much player movement nowadays. Back in the day, it meant something to be a Cleveland Brown. You tried to play your whole career with the Browns or the Raiders or whatever team you rooted for back then in the 70s and 80s, a little bit of the 80s. But it's all about the almighty dollar, y'all. Holla, holla, give me the dollars. So, I do believe in some way, shape, or form that the NFL is rigged. That's why I like the Patriots. They're not supposed to win. Goodell hates them. Come on. Deflategate? How in the hell, people, tell me, how in the hell is a quarterback going to have these people deflate the footballs? Aren't the referees of the game in charge of the footballs? Be nice in your comments. I'm probably wrong on that. But whoever's in charge, how is the quarterback going to go over there and say, hey, do this for me? Nah. Brady was suspended 4 games, I believe. And they still went to the Super Bowl that year, I think. 3 years in a row, people. I know most people hate the Patriots, but I respect them. I mean, who's on that team other than Tom Brady? Can anybody name one other player? Okay, Gronk's one. And maybe Edelman. But anybody else? I mean, freaking Bill Belichick has been doing it with smoke and mirrors for 20 years over there, or how long he's been there. I mean, come on. It's really hard to watch football nowadays. It's hard to watch sports nowadays because it's all about money. And it just seems like the guys in the front office of the leagues, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, they're the puppet masters. They're pulling the strings. Well, we're going to have this person or this team win this year. Did you ever think about that? What if I'm right? What if I'm right? If I am, I probably won't be doing this podcast anymore. I was watching The Simpsons the other day, and it was one with Bart and about the satellite, the MLB satellite, getting all our information. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, they're picking up on this transmission right now. But yeah, guys, it's hard for me to watch football, being a Cleveland Browns fan. Yeah, I had to go root for the New England Patriots now. We're rooting for the Carolina Panthers. They've gone to a Super Bowl or two. The Browns? Nada. Don't you think there's some kind of conspiracy about that? Or is this the Paul Brown curse? Or is this the Art Modell curse? The Browns. Everywhere I went back in the 80s and 90s, there was Browns fans everywhere in the United States. Browns backer meeting at such and such bar to watch the Browns play. Nowadays, it's hard to be a Browns fan. It really is. But we're still out there. Somewhat. This year gave us hope, but you never know with being a Browns fan how that's going to work out. Well, it's really hard to watch football nowadays. My dad's no longer with me, so I have nobody to share, well, the heartbreak of being a Browns fan. But yeah, I could go on about the mishaps and the misfortune of the Browns. I touched on it earlier, the Donkos and the drive, and then the Biner and the fumble. I feel sorry for Ernest Biner. I know it wasn't his fault, but he said it did eat at him for a while too. But he's a good guy, and he tried his best. Things happen, you know. But you can just look at, if you really look at it, you scratch your head and say, what's going on here? Maybe I'm right. Maybe it is all a conspiracy. But all I can say is go Patriots. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. Hey, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon and the like button. Let me know I'm doing a good job. Leave your comments. Be nice, people. Just be nice. All right, guys. Thanks.